So welcome to another edition of Blackstonian Radio, and today it is March 1st, 2013, and we are fortunate to have with us as our guest Dr. Omar Reid. And many of the people who are in the listening audience are familiar with Dr. Reid, of course, from his work as one of the co-authors of the book, Post-Traumatic Slavery Disorder. And people who are news hounds and have been watching the news lately can see also that his latest campaign, which has come out of the Black Mental Health Alliance, this campaign addressing the issue of sagging pants in our community. And there was an ad, a commercial that Dr. Reid was one of the architects of that has now been seen on YouTube and on various cable channels across, and that is what we will be talking about. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Omar Reid to the Blackstonian program.
All right, thanks, brother. Thanks for having me. I feel really appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. So now, for me, as an activist who, deals a lot with criminal justice issues, deals a lot with issues of police brutality, misconduct, impropriety, and deals with issues of some of the corruption that is taking place inside our prisons, just coming from that lens of a criminal justice kind of mindset, the first thing when I saw this, I was really shocked and taken aback. And at first, there were people who were, wondering whether this was serious or some kind of spoof or something. And then upon, further investigation, we found out that you were involved in it. And I know that, you're not someone who shoots from the hip and someone who doesn't have a thought process. So if you could just kind of explain to people what was the thought process and what was the origin kind of behind this whole campaign around the sagging pants.
Okay. And I'm glad you brought that up because this is important, and it's good that we're having this to clear up the misunderstanding. One of the things I just want to say off the bat, we're not looking to have brothers locked up. We got enough in prison, number one. The thing came up about, the Black Mental Health Alliance is a series of Black owned and operated clinics throughout the state of Massachusetts. And what was happening, we're getting so many referrals from mothers coming in trying to get their kids in therapy, not for smoking weed or acting out in school or in the community, but for wearing their pants down below their buttocks. But that wasn't really the issue. The issue was there was an incident that happened on one street where a guy, one of the boys was walking with his sister. I guess the brother had his pants down by his kneecap, and she had a G-string, but her pants were hanging down. And the police told her, look, you got to pull that up. I could arrest you. And she was going off, I guess, and the mother was upset about it and said, listen, doc, why can the girls be arrested, but nothing's done to my son? And I said to her, it's already in the law, but just that then people are not going to touch it because racial profiling would happen. So one of the things also came up, they passed that law in Florida and a couple other states. And I was at a conference. The guy said, did you know that Massachusetts, you all better check this and let people know, man, you all got the worst, the outrageous penalty for folks that could fall under the sagging thing. You need to let people know. I said, oh my God, and I didn't know about the law myself, so I looked it up. I said, damn, this is crazy. $300, well, the $300, a lot of places give you fine. That's not bad. But 2 years in county jail, 3 years in city. And when I had called one of the attorneys, I said, listen, so if you caught sagging, could you be arrested for this? He said, you know what? They could. Yes, they could. They're not going to force it, just like jaywalking. Jaywalking is illegal too. It's in the law. But it's on the books. Now, the thing that makes it dangerous, we're not even aware about this. So it has to happen like what happened in Florida. They cut on the switch. Now brothers are getting locked up and not even knowing that it was already on the books. So we put the ad out to let people know. That's why we say in the ad, you may not know, man, this is serious. You can jack you up on this. One of the things that came up the other day, I was at West Roxbury High School, met with a bunch of kids, and they were upset. They were pissed off, man. And they were mad at the adults. How come no one told us this crap? So if the cops 5-0 came up on me and they could hold me based on this law, at least give us the right of refusal. At least if we know the law and we still do it, then that's on us. But if we don't know, we get arrested. I'm mad at the adult blacks in our community. And I said, brother, I hear you. That's why we're trying to put it out there. I think what happened was We probably could have did it better in the way we presented it. And so that's the reason why we're definitely going around doing the conversations like this. I try to do it with Touch 106.1 and some other radio stations that, no, we're not advocating at all for black men to be locked up. We're trying to warn people. And here's the thing with us. We're the only ones that don't know we're at war with them. And we've seen this before. They'll not even tell us nothing, and all of a sudden they'll switch the rules. Just like child abuse. Before we used to beat our kids, that was a common practice in the black community with your kids. Now, then, when you start doing it, they file a 51A on you. But they didn't. But the law was, they switched the law, but they didn't tell us. But this one's a little different. It's already in the books, waiting to be pulled up. And I'm getting ready to go over to Lincoln Sudbury and Lynn Classical. Some of the student kids that have me coming over to speak to them because they actually did some more research on it. Yes, there's a lot of ambiguity in the law, but the problem is, yeah, it doesn't say sagging per se, but it could be used. And that's the thing that what people are really upset about is that adults didn't let people know was there. And I apologize to the kids. You know what? We didn't know. So the thing is that, remember, Massachusetts is probably more racist than most states. But these are the things that is there, and people need to be aware that it's there. And that's why we say, look, you better understand that it's in the law. Yes, is it being enforced right now? No. But if they decide to switch it, man, we're jacked up. You talk about brothers being profiled, they profile us without even our pants down. This will even exacerbate the problem. So that's what kind of led to that situation. As far as the behavioral health issue, but besides the behavioral health issue was, because, I worked in the prison with a lot of guys, and, guys who wore their pants. See, we're talking about extremes here. Guys who wear the stuff was under the buttocks, down to the kneecaps walking. That's ridiculous because one of the things we're talking, you see their penis and a lot of stuff, the whole thing. And we're talking about how do we model black boys to grow up to be black men. Yes, dress doesn't mean, because in the old day, gangsters wore suits and were killers, but we're talking about the mentality for black men. If we want to raise black boys to be black men, we got to let them know, one, so they at least get the right of refusal. So if I say to a young brother, listen, that kind of thing, when it goes under the buttocks, came from prison prostitutes. And if you dress like that, understand where they came from. Now, if the kid says, well, hell, I'm going to still wear it, that's okay. But at least he knows. The kids, the teens are the angry, are pissed off. No one told them that was a prison prostitute look. No one told them about the law, and they're angry with adult blacks for not saying anything, to at least give them the right of refusal. So that's what this campaign isn't about. We're actually getting ready to work with some kids on doing we couldn't do this PSA on Comcast because they thought it was too raw to show two brothers in prison with a dude walking with his pants down and say, and the voice goes over, men who prostitute in prison let other men know available letting the underwear show like this. Because a lot of kids were upset. They figured that needs to be taught to a lot of kids, especially a lot of kids who are 12, 13, or 14. They're just not aware. They just want to fit in. So that's where a lot of stuff, where we came out on putting out the thing. It was more or less getting people to know a warning to check it out. And the feedback we got from a lot of people is, man, a lot of people checked it. A lot of parents called me and they said, listen, Doc, I didn't know this was there. I talked with my boys. It was one woman, and she said, I talked with my sons, and I told them, listen, I can't make y'all 16, 17, 18. It's in the law, but you know how racist this state is or this country. Be aware of that. Now, if you choose to do it, that's okay. But at least you know if they switch the plug, which them bastards will, and you know they will, then they're going to jam us, and we need to be ready for it. And that's why she told her sons. And the sons actually say, Moms, I'm going to put my pants on a little more, especially if I'm walking around and see some please, because I just don't trust them. So we're just making people aware about the sort of ambiguity in this. And because that law is broad, it's not specific, that's the most dangerous. And most of the defense attorneys I talk with, they say, you know what? They can use it on the sagging because it's so broad and not specific. It all depends on the judge and the law. So you talk about going back in the debate with Attorney General, and then if you have a record prior, they're going to pull all that stuff up on you. So it's almost like we can't even win. So this was the whole purpose of the PSA. And we've gotten probably a lot of clarity. I would say 80% has been positive, 20% people who have been opposed to it didn't know what we were trying to do. Some people thought that we went past the law. Some people thought we were trying to say, okay, that we were we want you to get locked up. We said, hell no, we ain't trying to do that. You know, a lot of us had issues ourselves in prison. So we're saying, no, that's not it. We just want to let people know that this is out here. So that's the whole breadth of the PSA. And that's why when the guy says, you may not know that this law is there. And I tell you what happens. This has hit the state so huge, from Pittsfield to Attleboro, man, New Bedford. I'm getting ready to go down to Bedford next week. A lot of the young people are calling me, yo, Doc, can you come down here? Because this is whack, man. And a lot of them talk to police officers who said to them, you know, we could arrest you, but we don't want to be bothered because we don't want to get with all the racial profiling stuff. But if they told us from high above that we have to start locking you up, we got to lock you up. You see what I'm saying? So this is where a lot of kids are really like the PSA, at least educating them and letting them do the research. One thing I did find out, a lot of our kids aren't stupid. They were able to go and do the research themselves, and when we explained to them, you know, the whole process and what we were trying to do, a lot of them were on our side about it. I have one sister who was opposed to it. She was angry because I linked it to behavioral health. I tried to explain to her the best way I can. She was definitely still opposed, and I said to her, look, you know, again, that's your opinion, that's my opinion, but the thing is this, just like when Harriet Tubman wanted to free the slaves, it wasn't popular. You know, everybody want to leave. That's okay. But what we're trying to do, I said, we're trying to save black boys from getting locked up and getting arrested and being racial profile by letting them, at least give them the right of refusal to make their adjustment on their pants. But if no one says anything in this state, Massachusetts is so racist, if this state goes on and says tomorrow, the VAR goes, well, I'm getting pressure, we got to stop enforcing that 2072 chapter 16. Man, brothers be locked up left and right, be getting harassed. You know what I mean? So this is where we came out and decided to put this out. And so I just wanted to put that out there. And we understand what we're dealing with out here with these white people in the system.
Right now, and that leads into the next question, because, you know, I was one of those people who, you know, from the way that the commercial played off, to me at least, it did seem as if that your organization was in support of that.
Right.
You know, so it definitely was, at least for me, I was confused. But now let me ask you this, because in my commentary of putting it out, I got a lot of feedback. Now, some people were saying, oh, that's crazy, and, you know, obviously, you know, our kids are going to jail already, and we don't need any more of that. But it also surprised me, the many people that I got who also chimed in and said, you know what, lock them up. 3 years, they need to have 5 years. They need to all be locked up, and I got a lot of that, too, so I'm imagining. Right, and I'm imagining that you got that as well, and that's kind of what I'm concerned about, because
our community is so split, and when I say this to you, Brother Jamal, a black guy called me and thought he was being supportive. He thought I was encouraging folks to be locked up. I said, brother, whoa, I ain't saying that. You know, he was talking about niggas and gangster. I said, brother, I love hip-hop. Ain't nothing wrong with hip-hop. You see what I'm saying? There's negative and there's positive hip-hop before white folks got involved. But I said to him, man, be careful. This ain't about locking brothers up. I said, we've got enough in jail. This is about educating folks that this law exists in Massachusetts, and what we need to do as a group is come to change that so we don't get jammed up. And then he hung up on me and cussed me out, you know what I'm saying? Well, why'd you run the hands? You ain't trying to lock them up.
Right.
I mean, but unfortunately, we got those fanatics. But again, you know, what I do like about this is that it started the debate and the conversation. People having it at dinner time. I'm in Commerce Square, brothers coming up to me outside the subway, yo, Doc, man, you know, I heard that, man, on the radio, you know, I got opinions on that, you know what I'm saying? But I sag, but I don't do it like this when I'm around my mother, you know what I'm saying? And what I tell a lot of people is that, you know, it's about code switching. You know, like Jay-Z and those rappers, when they do it, they're on the stage. But when you see Jay-Z at the next game, he suited up, or he was a Beyonce, cool, you know what I mean? So I said, the problem is that if you got young boys who don't understand the difference, that could lead to the issue. Now, here's something I want to clear up, Jamal, because this pissed me off what they tried to do to me, and they said to me that I said, and this killed me, that wearing your sagging pants means automatically going to jail. I never said that. What I said that some of the behaviors that can come when you dress a certain way could lead to deviant behavior. You see what I'm saying? Because I'll be a hypocrite because if you knew me back in the day, I dressed like I was the Panther president at my high school in 1972 and 73. So I wore the militant stuff. That wasn't cool then. You know what I mean? So that doesn't mean you're going to be a certain way. What I'm saying is that it's the whole person, but if you educate people about appearance at an early age, then let them get a choice. Let them have a choice of refusal. And that's all we're saying. Educate them. And hip-hop is positive. That's one of the ways to free our people. So we're not, again, anti-hip-hop. I don't know where that came from. Anti-black men lock us up. I don't know where that came from. And we're actually going to change the ad in next month to make it more clearer on our position. So, because now that we know how you do the test run first, and you get it, and this is one of the things we saw that came up. A lot of people confused. Are y'all supporting it, or are you trying to get black men locked up? What are you trying to do? You see what I'm saying? So we're going to make some changes on it to let people more, hey, listen, y'all need to realize this is out here. Be careful. The rules may change or something like that. So we're working on that now.
Okay, that's good, because in the activist community, you know, many people are already talking about seeing what can be done with this law to make sure that, you know, in the future it is not used. We've heard basically from most DAs across the Commonwealth, as well as police chiefs, who said, right, as you said, you know, that this is below their radar. They wouldn't do it. Yes, it could open them up to racial profiling cases, but also to it being petty, and, you know, would just clog courts that are already clogged up. So that most people have said it's not something they're looking at. But there does need to be clarity in the law. So you're saying that you would support efforts like that to get some clarity in the law to make sure that young men in the future are not subject to these fines or jail or arrest.
Right. Like, for example, in Florida, and I'm forgetting the town on it, brother. I forgot what town. They just passed an ordinance in that city. It was in the books like this. But now they made it then the court said, from now on, I think it was in Dade County, not Dade County, but near Jacksonville. Now, anybody who has SAG, and they even did it by, like, underwear straps showing or something crazy, you automatically $500 fine. But you know what they're trying to do? Get money. See, it's a business, as you know. It's not the process of just getting locked. It's the whole process of the lockup. Going to court, lawyers, judges. It's a big business, and they're pimping them. So, again, even the police can say, oh, well, we're not interested now. But if it comes from up top, we need some more money, start locking these niggas up, and they come up with that attitude, right? That's a money mail. They'll be making money big time. And that's what gets me nervous.
Exactly, and there's issues, of course, of selective enforcement, because another one of the big things I heard was, well, you know, the white kids do it too, and of course they do, but we know that when police are given the option to enforce something like this, it will be more black and brown who will be subject to stop, questioning, arrest, than it would be some white kid in the suburbs who wants to be a skater or something.
Oh, you got to see, there we go. Here we go. Right. You know, they'll pull them aside. Hey, what are you doing, buddy? Trying to be black? You know, pull your pants up. You know, that's exactly. And to give them a pass by. Meanwhile, you know, Jerome walking up on Humboldt, they're gonna lock him up and beat him down.
Exactly.
Give him 2 years. I mean, I didn't think Massachusetts off the hook, man. I mean, people. When I saw that, man, I was like, this is crazy. It is crazy, but again. I remember a guy said the problem with us is that we're the only ones that don't realize that a war is still going on. They're out to annihilate all black men, and we still don't see it. And they're subtle about it, man, because if they said something around it, brothers wouldn't do it, but then they'll switch the rules up and try to catch us off guard. And that's what's dangerous about it. It's almost like, I know you're going to throw me out, but I don't know when. I ain't got nowhere to sleep. You know, you're in an abusive relationship. That's what it seems like. It's not a good feeling, because it's basically at a whim of some politician saying something. The rules can change overnight, and guess what? We wouldn't even know it was coming.
All right. Well, I tell you what, I'm very glad we had this time to talk about this issue and clear it up, because it was definitely a hot button issue and getting a lot of questions out there from the community. So I'm glad that you took the time to come on and talk with us. And as you know, we're planning a forum on this on March 16th. And as you said, unfortunately, you won't be in town. But I do hope that you will tell other people in your organization or others who you feel as though can add to that dialogue to come on down to the town hall forum we're going to have on this. And now I feel a lot better about it that we've cleared this up, because that will help us shape the focus, and now we can move on to doing what we need to do to make sure that that legislation is minimized in terms of the damage that it could potentially do to our young men. So I'm glad that we're all on the same side on that, and I'm definitely glad that we had the opportunity to clear that up.
Oh, thanks so much, brother. And then, like, again, my sake, tell people, they need to be aware that this is on the books and that we better be ready, just in case some fools try to cut the lights on.
Yes, sir.
They've done it before.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, my brother, I thank you again for your time, and, we will stay in touch, and I'll keep you abreast of our activities, and you please do the same with yours. And as we move forward, we are all moving in accord to protect our community and save our young men on all levels of it, but certainly from mass incarceration.
Oh, also, Jamal, before you leave, one of the things we're getting ready to do with the Black Mental Health, which is, I think, huge based on the whole mental health thing, we're going to really do, and you and I can meet, man, to talk about this. I'm going down, as soon as this fiscal cliff crap is cleared up, we're starting the first mental health training certificate programs to recruit black men into the mental health field.
Okay.
And we offer them 100% guaranteed employment with any of the black clinics in the state of Massachusetts, or a paraprofessional position in Boston Public Schools, and working on Lynn and some of the other city schools with some of the superintendents now. And the beauty about that is that, again, one of the big problems in this state, I'm the only black male licensed child psychologist in Massachusetts. I'm the only black male licensed educational psychologist in Massachusetts. When you look at who comes through the system for learning disability tests and most of the stuff, it's mostly boys of color. And I'm it, man. It's crazy. So we're actually doing some stuff around that, and we'd love to we're going to give more information out, and maybe I got your numbers. I'll call you about it, and we can do a forum to recruit these brothers from the high school and get them into the field, because we need them.
Definitely. That sounds like a plan.
All right, brother.
All right. Thank you, sir.